I was in the Marine Corps, medically retired from the Marine Corps. After that, I went on to work with many companies like Florida Annual Corporation and others in the marketplace, and started my own company in 1997. After 20 years of that, it was extremely successful. Was able to retire and sell that, and then I went ahead and met Bill, and he hired me as a DVOP, Disabled Veteran Program Specialist, where that was one of the most rewarding jobs because that gave me the opportunity to help homeless veterans and incarcerated veterans and veterans that are truly in need. And that's where my passion lies, being able to assist veterans, being able to assist them with their endeavors and futures and what they're trying to accomplish. And I feel like that role, it was different because you're at the lowest point. Veterans are at their lowest point in their life too, and then you have a DVOP or a leaver assisting them and really trying to change the direction they're currently in. This position here at the base, MacDill Air Force Base, is very unique. I've been here since August 12th of 2024, almost a year. And since I've been here, we've made a significant impact in the program because our objective is to help transitioning service members leave the military, some after 20 some years, some 30 years, and transition in the private sector, which can be a big challenge, but also an opportunity. Since I started this program, we've made some significant impacts, been awarded many awards here on base for helping so many veterans. And I received over 120 ICE reports, which is a report that goes to the wing commander of the base, basically stating how valuable CareerSource and the services we're offering are to this community. So that's kind of where I'm at today, and we've had a lot of success. I've placed over 20 transitioning service members with an average salary of $89,000 a year, which is not too bad. I'm part of the TAP class, which I present to the TAP twice a month, introducing career services and all the services we offer, but also introducing myself and what I can do. Also, I'm in charge of the precept classes, which is every Monday and Wednesday for every week, 52 weeks out of a year. And then I also give classes once a month for, I work with Veronica for interviews and resume writing. And so we get into everything about applicant tracking systems, AI, some tools, and but I sit with each person a minimum of an hour. We kind of target where they're going, what they're trying to achieve, and we develop a plan, a really good plan. We learn about the companies they're targeting. We focus on, what applications they use, and we start from that point, and it's been really successful. I've helped a lot of colonels all the way down to the sergeant. So it's a real rewarding job for me personally. ICE reports are very important. They reflect us as a corporation, as a CareerSource, because this all goes to the wing commander, which is a 3-star general and a 4-star general that sees the work that we're doing here, which is very important. I think the key thing is ensuring confidence in this. I mean, I exuberate confidence myself, so I spread the gospel when it comes to that, and especially about CareerSource and what CareerSource has as far as attributes and tools to use. We spend a lot of time in Employ Florida. We target companies. I explain to them if they're interested in, like, I'll give an example, like General Dynamics, what's NEF. We look at what platforms they have. I'm teaching them how to research an organization and really getting their resume ready, but it's really researching the company, figuring out their culture, figuring out what they're seeking in individuals. And I think that's been part of our biggest success rate because I'm spending the quality time. Now, sometimes, it's a tough opportunity because, sometimes you got to start at 6 a.m. If that's what it is, it's 5:30 a.m. because I'm dealing with sitcom, SOCOM, where once you go into that building, you cannot bring in a phone. You cannot call anybody. There's no communication. So I have to adjust my time and hours based on their needs. And I think that's where my reputation really comes in on the base. They know I'll do whatever it takes to assist them. It means a lot to me because, coming from the DevOps side where you're assisting homeless veterans, and I assisted many getting employment opportunities and guidance and mentoring. It's the same thing here. I have colonels that I'm working with that I'm actually mentoring in the business community. A lot of them never owned a company. There's boots to business, where people are considering maybe starting a company, so I can do some risk assessments with them since I owned a company for 21 years. So it's that kind of thing, really having that rapport, establishing confidence, but also commitment. That's the biggest thing to me. I show up, I deliver, and I'm always there for them. If it's 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock, it doesn't matter to me in the morning. I'm there whenever the line is waiting on me. And sometimes it's overwhelming because I might have 10 or 12 people waiting in the lobby for me. But it's all good. I love it. I served honorably. As a senior staff NCO myself, I led people, managed people, and I think that is a reflection of that. I can relate to what they're going through. When I got released from the Marine Corps, when my career was over, they didn't have a TAP program. Now they have a TAP program. They have 3 days where they're learning about what happens when you do get out. They introduce people like CareerSource to you. They also have the veterans team. We're now talking about, your VSO, Veteran Services, Disability Services. They didn't have that back in my era, but they do now, and I think that's really positive for all the military professionals on base. But being, prior Marine does help. I have a lot of devil dogs come through there, and a lot of colonels, a lot of professionals, and it demonstrates commitment. My commitment is helping veterans. I have a passion for it. I love what I do, and I've been very successful in every role. As you probably know, I was nominated for the Governor Award. I won DevOps of the Year in 2023 for servicing more disabled veterans than anyone else and placing more than anyone else. So I'm heavily involved, and since I started this role, I've achieved so much success here on base that I was given a coin award. That's a real honor when you get an award presented by a senior staff like a general, for your performance, for everything you've done for these current transitioning service members. So I was honored to receive that award just recently. I'm very good at multitasking, obviously. When I owned my own company, I was in 45 different markets, and I had a lot of employees around the U.S. and overseas. So I'm used to high volume work. I'm probably to the extreme when it comes to high volume work. I keep a heavy caseload. I keep very detailed notes. I make sure everything's in Employ Florida, and I really focus on prioritizing my time but making it effective. When I spend an hour with someone, we accomplish a lot in an hour. It's not only building a resume, but it's also learning about that person, what their goals are, what they're trying to achieve, and we set up a good plan, and I follow up. So I'm focused on really assisting them. I don't too much worry about how many hours I put in. I get in early, I stay, I get the job done. To me, that's the most rewarding thing. The end result to me is doing the right things, and being successful is measured by that for me personally. How many veterans I can help, and how many success stories that we can generate for CareerSource. I mean, this is the first time, I'm sure, for CareerSource at this base that they've received 122 ICE reports. I know no one's achieved that ever, because I just know that's the case. And so I'm proud to be a part of CareerSource, and doing the things that I'm doing to make an impact, and making sure the community is aware of all the great things CareerSource does at all times. We are so needed on this base. We're MacDill Air Force Base is one of the largest bases in our nation. There's so many people transitioning in and out of that base. So our impact on this base is just so important to the outcome of success for these transitioning service members. When I first took this role, I was kind of evaluating what works for me, what works for the vets, how do I make this successful? And I learned quickly that, they are really needing guidance. They need leadership, they need guidance, they need to understand the tools that we offer, and how CareerSource can impact. Now, American Job Centers, there's 2,400 throughout our nation. I even assist people that are leaving our state. So if they're leaving our state and not staying in the state of Florida, what I'll do is I'll sit down, log into, like I just helped 2 people in Las Vegas, go into the American Job Center in Las Vegas. I showed them how to do the job search, how to upload the resume. And matter of fact, 2 people got jobs as emergency management system, making $48 an hour. So not too shabby. So my reputation, you know how you're building a reputation here for sure. The objective is making sure we find them long-lasting career opportunities, not just a job, but a career opportunity. I just had to give you a real example. I just had a Marine Corps Staff Sergeant, E6, Marine Corps, 10 years, cybersecurity. I sat with her and I worked through a lot of things together, got her resume straightened out, but also we targeted 5 different companies that I knew would hire her right away with the experience she had. She was getting ready to re-enlist, but then she thought, well, I don't think I will. She's a new mom, and she just was awarded $168,000 at Ernst & Young for cybersecurity as a threat association director. So that is how I know it works. I do this because I want to do this, not because I have to work or want to do, this is what I have passion about. I think there's sometimes in life, if I was blessed enough to have a company that was super successful and retire, and now I'm more like giving back in my mind because I know I can impact these veterans, which obviously I have. The most rewarding part about this job is when I sit down with one-on-one with someone and see that how nervous they are, how they don't know what they don't know, and being able to, when they're done talking with me, see the confidence they have, seeing their goals now clear for them, maybe for the first time. That is the most important thing to me. And when I see them come back and she said, Mr. Davis, you wouldn't believe it, they gave me $168,000. Wow, and the emails that I get back from them, that makes this whole job to me worthwhile. And the commitment, the hours, whatever it takes, that's the end product of doing something right. And that's how I feel about this. I just feel like everything I do leads to success of that transitioning service member in that community, and helping spouses. Sylvia does a great job helping spouses. Her and I partner with things, attending job fairs and et cetera. But at the end of the day, it's sitting down that individual person and seeing the lack of confidence they have. They might be a colonel, maybe they've done 30 years in the military, but this is brand new to them, and they do lack confidence. And that's what my job is to do, is to make them, reassure them that we have them, that we're right next to them one way or the other, and we're going to make it happen together. And that's how I come across the whole base. And that's why my reputation is very solid across the entire base, from full generals all the way down the ranks. And I have people call me from out of state in different commands, which is amazing, but I'm only one person, so it's kind of challenging. Work with CareerSource, depend on CareerSource, become a partner with us, and we'll be there for you the whole way through. The advice is don't give up. I know at times this is challenging. You might have to apply to 100 different jobs, but don't give up. You will prevail. We just have to stick together, keep focused, and keep the strategy in line with your goals. A lot of times it's easy to quit. I try to make sure I instill that at base every day when I do presentations and stuff. Do not quit. It's rough, it's tough, but we can do it together. And I make sure they understand I'm next to them the whole way through this.